What is up, guys? In this video today, it's going to be on how to use zone 2 cardio to get to 10% body fat and pretty much upgrade your biology and just become a better human. Just upgrade your human stats and human character from just doing zone 2 cardio. So, lots to dive into today, so let's get right into it. So, first, I need to address the elephant in the room. So, cardio does not kill gains. I want to make that very clear. If you know how to do this correctly, if you know how to structure this and program this and do the right type of cardio with zone 2 and have the nutrition, just the sequencing on points, this will not not kill your gains, not interrupt with your lifting progress if you know how to do this right. So this will help you with energy crashes, stubborn fat loss, crashing calories. You're not going to have to do that. Glucose dependence through metabolic flexibility, slower recovery, which we'll get into all these. And the truth about the zone 2 cardio and what you're actually going to get from this is more energy production, fat oxidation is going to be a lot better, building an aerobic base, efficient caloric expenditure, insulin sensitivity, GLUT4, and zero muscle interference. This is kind of what we're going to cover today in the video through the slides I have presented for you guys today. So let us dive in. So first off, if you don't know what zone 2 cardio is, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's basically heart rate zone training. So 60 to 70% of your max heart rate is what zone 2 is. So you take your max heart rate, and ideally you want to wear a heart rate monitor. So I wear this Garmin watch. You can wear any smartwatch. I think there's some strictly just heart rate monitors for this. That's gonna be the best way to find out, what heart rate you're actually running at or doing your cardio at. But if you don't have one, a equation that you can use is 220 minus your age, and that will give you your max heart rate, and then just take 60, 70% of this. So for me, I'm 22 years old, so that'd be 198, so 220 minus 22, and then taking 60 to 70% of that number, which it's kind of a rough estimate because as you get better at zone 2 cardio, as you train yourself to improve, then that's going to change just based on how trained you are. But if you're just starting out, it's going to be a good baseline to go at. And should feel very easy, very low intensity work. Like you should feel at a very chill pace. You should not be stressing yourself at all with this. Like as you can see, it's a 4 out of 5 or 4 to 5 out of 10 of actual rate of perceived exertion. So it's very chill pace, but there's so many benefits to doing this. It's not going to be hard on you at all. That's why I like it as well. Also, like we're going to get into all this, but does not affect muscle growth at all whatsoever. So let us dive in. So first thing I want to cover, really one of the biggest benefits you get from this is more mitochondrial volume and the density that you have with them. So basically you're creating more mitochondria and making them more effective at creating energy. So all of us, we have mitochondria. That's basically at the foundational level. What creates energy in the body is through the mitochondria that we have. So if you're not doing zone 2 cardio right now, you're just going to have baseline mitochondria. But as you start doing this consistently over time, then you're basically going to be making more of these mitochondria, so making more energy like production factories, you could say. And then these red ones are going to be better, like more efficient at creating that energy. So you're making more of these and then making these better at making energy in the first place. So total energy production increases. You're going to feel a lot sharper, a lot more energized, and have a way better mood overall. Like for me, I've noticed this so much, like since I started running versus when I didn't. I used to be maybe on and off with cardio, but now I do it so consistently. Like as I'll get into like what my running stats are as well. But for me, I've noticed such a big increase in just my daily energy throughout the day. Like at a baseline, I just produce more energy and I can do just better things, have better workouts, have more energy for life, for work, for business, for anything that I do, just because I've trained myself so much on this. And it's just going to continue to keep stacking on top of each other and just have exponential benefits for myself for this. So next up, tying into the mitochondria is fat oxidation. So you're basically going to upgrade your fat oxidation, and that all happens through the mitochondria. So mitochondria are trained to use fat as a fuel source, and basically if you're having more of these mitochondria, you can have more fat oxidation, and they can use more fat as a fuel source better. So you're upgrading these, you're making more of these, and now they can use fat as a fuel source more, so you can actually use your own body fat as a fuel source instead of just not being able to use that, and that's what actually creates fat loss in the first place. So more body fat can be burned. Like first burn body fat through lipolysis. You're breaking down your own body fats into free fatty acids, and then that's what your mitochondria uses, is those free fatty acids to use those for energy. So if you can have, every part of the equation and that's pretty much checked off and optimized in the best possible way, then that's how staying lean pretty much year round, like not really having to try for it, becomes possible, because your natural state is just to burn fats so rapidly and so effectively that you just basically just stay lean year round. So your body also metabolic flexibility upgrades, so you don't have to rely on glucose for energy. So a big reason why people have energy crashes is because they're not metabolically flexible. So like when they run out of glucose or carbs, their body doesn't know how to use fat as a fuel, which is what we're training with zone 2 cardio and fat oxidation. So you're going to have way more sustained energy throughout the day. Like if you're not eating carbs every few hours, you don't have to have those energy crashes, because you can just use your own body fat as a fuel source, and you're going to be trained to use that in the best possible way. So really good benefits for energy, for staying lean, for just overall life. You're going to have so many benefits to this. You can extrapolate this to everything else. You're just going to just be a better human overall. So next up is insulin sensitivity and GLUT4. So I've talked a lot about this on my channel, my Instagram as well. So you're going to increase nutrient partitioning to muscle growth instead of fat storage. Basically, you're upgrading your insulin sensitivity, how your body can clear out blood glucose by using insulin less. And it's already going to be provided for, because you can just directly store those nutrients to muscles instead of fats. And you're also increasing the adiponectin hormone. I covered this in my last video, so if you haven't checked out, it's part 2 on the hormone series. So adiponectin is basically the insulin sensitivity hormone, and it's really trained through zone 2 cardio and getting at a lower body fat percentage. Also, GLUT4 expression increases. So from the workouts you're going to be doing, like that you're already doing in the gym, then muscles can absorb more carbs without insulin having to be there in the first place. So basically all of this is making you use less insulin to get the same job done, which is what insulin sensitivity is clearing out the blood glucose, directing it more towards muscle growth. And from this, all you're going to have cleaner body composition results. So basically what we're doing is maximizing nutrient partitioning, where the calories and the food we're eating actually goes. Basically has 2 options. Either goes to muscle growth or fat storage, and this is going to basically just upgrade yourself for that as well. Next up is cognition and brain benefits. So you have a lot of benefits for the brain. You're going to increase neurogenesis, increase BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor. And from this, you're going to have a lot faster learning, better memory, better mental focus, and mental clarity. Like there's so many mental benefits to running and doing cardio. Like even from a mood standpoint, like you just feel way better. You have those endorphins running from doing sustained cardio, and not including this, like neurogenesis and BDNF. Like you're going to have just sharper performance with your brain, and you can just lock in on tasks and have better performance, especially if you're going to be like a mental worker, entrepreneur, like anyone that does work maybe like at a desk with a computer, laptop. Like if you're using your brain for the majority of your production, this is going to be such a huge benefit to you, because you just get more output from the work that you're already doing. So just kind of think of this as an upgrade to your brain and how you can process things throughout the day. So basically upgrading, like I said, your mental cognition and mental output just from doing consistent zone 2 cardio throughout the day. So next up is effects on muscle. So we have this thing called angiogenesis, basically creating new blood vessels, new blood capillaries from the existing blood vessels that we already have. And the benefit to this is you're going to maximize nutrient delivery to the muscle. So if you think about it, you have more blood vessels in your body. You can deliver more nutrients, because that's where the nutrients go, through the blood, and also deliver more oxygen to the muscle as well. You're going to have faster recovery from this, faster recovery from workouts, and then as you train yourself, faster recovery from the runs you're doing in general. And then you're also building an aerobic base. So this can apply to lifting as well. Like you're going to have way more muscle endurance. And also for running, obviously, like you're going to have more of an aerobic base. You can sustain longer periods of effort, at a longer pace. Then also for more intense work, you can just tolerate it way better, just because you have that aerobic base. You really want to build the foundation of the aerobics, and then you can stack on top of that the interval work, like if that's something that you want to do, just depending on what your goal is specifically. And then you're also going to have zero muscle breakdown. So zone two is going to be it's going to be low intensity enough where you're not going to be relying on glycogen. Like mostly it's going to be fat burning, so you're not really breaking down muscle protein or glycogen for this. You're going to be using fat, and the more zone 2 cardio you do, the better fat burning you're going to have and the more muscle sparing it's going to be. So all of these benefits stack on top of each other. Like it's such a compounding effect of the more consistent you are with this, the more benefits you get from this. And for myself, I've noticed such huge improvements for myself just because I do this so consistently for me. So next up is AMPK versus mTOR signaling. This is going to be a very important key of the equation to get right, specifically for body composition and like muscle growth, fat loss, which is one of the main goals that I think a lot of us have. So zone 2 cardio is going to use AMPK for fat oxidation, mitochondrial biogenesis, which is what we covered earlier. And you kind of want to think of these two as signals in the body. So mTOR is going to be your muscle growth signal where you're driving muscle growth and repair. And then AMPK is going to be the fat oxidation, using like breaking down things in the body, like stored body fat, not necessarily muscle. So I don't want you guys to think of this as a bad thing, but you want to think of these as different signals that you want to send to the body at different times to get a certain effect. So for mTOR, it's going to be the muscle growth. Obviously, we're doing this when we're lifting, when we're having high protein meals. And then the post-workout window, like having insulin, like insulin's going to drive mTOR as well. That's why we want to have it in that post-workout meal. So AMPK is going to directly buffer mTOR. So basically, you don't want to mix these two signals together. So when you have a lift, when you're going to send the mTOR signal for your body to grow muscle, you don't want to affect it with AMPK because you're just going to like basically get half-assed results from both of these. So don't think of AMPK as bad, but we don't want it to block mTOR at the wrong time. This is why timing of your zone 2 cardio and your lifting, the sequencing of your training, and then nutrition behind everything together, like how you're having nutrition with your lifting to maximally raise mTOR signaling, and then your nutrition for AMPK specifically, this all plays a part into the results that you get from this. So it's very dependent on your specific schedule, your specifics as an individual, because everyone is different, right? Like everyone has different schedules. This is something that I do with my clients, very hands-on. Like if you guys want to work with me to get this right, like I really tailor things to you to make it the most beneficial for you to actually get like the signaling right, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and just, like I said, like have half-assed signals for mTOR when you're wanting to grow muscle and then blocking it with AMPK with zone 2 cardio. But you do want to let zone 2 work benefit you, like have all the benefits like I get myself, but not slow down your progress with, blunting this mTOR response as well. So do you need zone 2 cardio? This is a question I get a lot on my videos as well. So I want to break down kind of the difference between zone 2 and steps. So zone 2 is going to burn more calories. You are going to have a little bit higher intensity than steps. Like it's not going to be high intensity in general, but more than steps, of course. And then all the benefits that we just covered, like everything that we just covered with, the cognition, insulin sensitivity, fat oxidation, the mitochondria, all that you're going to get from zone 2. And then it's going to be more time efficient as well. So the thing I like about zone 2 is you're going to be burning more calories at a faster rate. Like obviously if you're doing zone 2 cardio, like if you're running, then you can pretty much cut your time in half of how many calories you're burning, and you can just have way more efficient workouts. And also building your aerobic fitness is something I'm really big into, because I like to take care of my aerobic fitness myself, like for races, for just doing anything in general. I feel at my best when I have my aerobic fitness on top. Versus steps, like I'm not against just doing steps. It does still burn calories. It is easy to get in. Like you don't have to break a sweat with this. It can be very low efforts. Like you can really get steps in wherever, and you can accumulate these throughout the day. So like usually I'm doing zone 2 throughout my week. Like I'll plan my cardio sessions, my runs, and then I'm also obviously getting steps in the day. Like I'm not going to say just getting steps is bad, and you don't need zone 2 cardio. Like you don't absolutely need it, but it is very, very beneficial, like just like we covered in all these benefits here. So I do recommend incorporating this into your program, like with your fitness, because you're going to get so many benefits. Like you're just going to feel so much better about yourself and have way better fat loss specifically results for this. And then if you're also building muscle at the same time, you can do this. Like when I was doing my recomp cut like last summer, and I've also done one recently, I was doing zone 2 cardio throughout all of it because it is going to increase insulin sensitivity. It's going to create a bigger caloric deficit. You can still have more calories coming in because you're creating a bigger expenditure deficit because you're just doing more cardio. So there is a lot of benefits to this, but you do want to be able to program it right. So I do recommend doing this. Do you need it? Absolutely. I'm not going to say you do, but you can just get steps in, but there's so many benefits that like you don't want to miss out. And if you never experienced what it's like to have consistent zone 2 cardio, then I think you guys really should consider it if you've never done this, but that's kind of my take on zone 2 versus steps. So my experience with this specifically, so I did just run a half marathon on last Sunday, so about 4 days ago, and I got a 1:46, so 1 hour and 46 minutes, and that's a PR for me, and that's really all from doing 11 to 12 miles a week of zone 2 cardio. So like I put my running stats here as you guys can see. I wanted to show you guys what I've done throughout the years of, it's basically like the past 2 years of me wearing this watch is the data that you're looking at here. So I've only been averaging 11 to 12 miles a week, and there's some periods that I'll do more running specifically for training for a race, and then sometimes we'll take it more easy. But as you can see, I've been very, very consistent over the past 2 years with my running and my cardio. That's why I get all the benefits from this that I have today. And it's so easy for me to stay lean and maximize my nutrient partitioning, just my body composition in general, because I've done this for such a long time. It's been so consistent for me. And I'm very big into my aerobic base as well. Like I want to build my endurance. My alarm just went off for my nighttime routine, but recording this video, so that just threw me off. But yeah, I do want to build my aerobic base and my endurance specifically for running races. Like I'm really big into this, but this just goes to show like the consistency of this is way more important than the intensity of what you're doing, right? So if you've had this for the past 2 years, then you're gonna see similar results that I have, just because it just stacks on top of each other. Like it's very consistent and exponential results that you get from this. It's not just like doing one run, sticking with this for a month, and then you fall off. It's more of a consistent work, which doesn't have to be too much, but you're still gonna get all the benefits from this. So I want to talk about the races I've done just because I want to share this with you guys as well. So I've done a lot of races in Colombia. So this is me doing a lot of races through like what I've showed you guys here. These are like the periods that I've done races throughout the past 2 years. I've done some 5Ks. This was a 5K. I did this last October, or no, not last October, 2024 of October. Done 10Ks and half marathons. And in the future, I want to do full marathons. I really want to do an Ironman and then a High Rocks race. So the main goal is an Ironman for sure. That's why I want to build my aerobic base. And I can still do this just consistently doing this. I'm not really going to put so much effort into my cardio just because I know the effects and the compounding effort that I get from this. And it's going to benefit me for the rest of my life. So I'm going to do this for years and years to come to prepare myself for these races. And I think it's a cool thing to be able to just sign up for a race. Like for this race here, I signed up 10 days before the race. And I was able to PR just because I've been so consistent with my running, and I want to keep continuing to do that. I want to keep, having my aerobic base in check. It's going to keep upgrading as well, and I can just sign up for races, not really having to prepare super intensely for them, but I can still perform at my best just because I've had that result and I've had the accumulation of so much cardio throughout the years. So you kind of want to think of zone 2 cardio as a tool. So it's really good for your physique, body composition. As you can see, like it's helped me a lot. For your energy as well, really good for cognition, cleaner nutrient partition. You're going to have so many benefits to your physique and just like overall fitness and quality of life as well. Like the quality of life aspect is very, very underlooked, but it's such a big player in this. But it is very individual for your schedule and like how you can actually incorporate this. I don't want to give generic advice just because it really depends on what your goal is and what you're looking to achieve with this and like how you can actually incorporate this with your day. So if you guys want to work with me, I'll leave you guys to schedule a call to work with me one-on-one. We can go over specifically what that looks like for you and cover everything else that I've talked about like in my videos, really making this customized and crystal clear on pretty much like the execution steps that you need to do to build muscle and lose fat, whatever your goal is, making sure you have the best program and protocols for your nutrition, for your training, and everything that goes into that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep making a lot more of these. Also going to make some more, say, like lifestyle content and just me just talking to the camera. I want to show you guys a lot more of my personal life, because I don't want to just be a circle on this screen and just talking about fitness education, which I do love. Like, this is something that I really like to make, and I'm very passionate about the topics that I cover. I'm going to keep making these, but also want to show you guys more of my life, which I think would be very interesting for you guys to see, and just show you, document, my journey throughout the years to come with my fitness as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.